It's all so easy to talk about resilience when you don't have to take part in the hardship. Good evening. This is once again Ken from the Spice Dudes, back for another episode of KENTalk. Tonight's topic will be about resilience, something that has been really talked about in the recent years, a studied psychological phenomenon or trait, so to speak, and why I believe it is something to be wary of when talking about it. Of course, you can definitely look it up anywhere on the internet, and they're all going to say the same thing about it. Resilience is when someone's ability to basically bounce back to before something bad happens, to how we were before what we call the crisis happened. Whenever something really bad happens to us, we often will start to act in ways that are very unusual of us, and we can't do the things that we usually can do. And this is completely normal, because if we weren't that way, then that would be something very unusual indeed for a human being. As human beings, we do need to take the time to process. When something bad happens to us, we need to deal, so to speak. Just brushing it off and sweeping it under the rug is just going to cause a lot more problems down the line. Trust me, I've tried it, it doesn't work out very well. The problems that we sweep under the rug or set aside in the meantime, they can really come to bite us in the ass later on. Maybe sometimes we do need to just set some things aside because we need to get some things done first, and then we process, and then we deal. If you've seen the last episode on ghosting, well, we've talked about how reflecting is very important, but reflecting too much can be something that would be detrimental to us in the long run. Balanced, as all things should be, as a certain purple man would say. But sometimes people in society seem to take things too far. People seem to kind of expect that we should always be thinking positive, always be full of positivity, and just not being negative ever. In my opinion, what goes up must come down. For there to be light, there must be darkness. It's all part of the human experience to have good times and bad times. But as I've said, people seem to have all of these blown up expectations about how resilient people or other people should be. To be honest, it gets really ridiculous sometimes how people expect these kinds of things. It really goes hand in hand with what I've talked about before when it comes to dismissive encouragement. They're all too willing to talk about resilience and being able to get back up on your feet if it doesn't involve them getting their hands dirty. Everyone is all too willing to talk about the virtues, but all too unwilling to share in the struggles. We've all heard it all before. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And to that, I say, it won't kill you, but it'll probably F you up mentally. And second, did we have to suffer through that? Did we even have to feel the pain? Was it even necessary? Could that suffering have been prevented in the first place? And when I talk about resilience in the face of adversity, in the face of major setbacks, whatever have you, I talk about this in general. In your life, your career, your love lives, it's all so easy to talk about resilience when you don't have to take part in the hardship. Now, of course, some people would say that it is part of the natural human experience to be able to develop resilience. As some proverbs would say, uh, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man polished or perfected without trials. But personally speaking, I feel that it has been a very lonely experience. While I have been blessed to have friends who really hear me out and do none of that dismissive encouragement BS, a vast majority of the people I know and regularly interact with, for lack of a better term, I don't think they can really help themselves. I think it's something that they've grown up with, they've gotten used to, and basically start repeating to other people who are going through a rough spot in their lives, tough times. Most of the time, I just think that they don't really know any better and they don't really know how to comfort someone. They don't know how to be there for other people simply because other people have never been there for them either. And so it's been quite a long life of just realizing that when push comes to shove, some people are very much willing to catch you, but when shove comes to tackle, that's gonna be another problem entirely. You're probably gonna have to deal with it on your own. And that's the problem that I really find with resilience, whenever people talk about resilience. Now, I may be repeating myself, but people like to talk about resilience, but they don't want to really have to experience the hardships, and they don't really want to be there for other people when they're trying to bounce back. And what I would like to promote or call for more people to do would be to actually go out there and be there for people in their times of hardship. I want people to go out there and prevent the causes of suffering in the first place, as much as possible. Because if you could have prevented the problem in the first place, then there wouldn't have to have been any suffering and bouncing back whatsoever. I know that people are gonna say that problems and trials are part of every person's life. I know. But again, some problems are so easily preventable. We need to create a culture where we don't expect our peers or friends or family to just ignore us when we have problems. It shouldn't be an accepted norm to know deep down in our hearts that if something happens to us, we're basically fucked and left alone to our own devices. Call me idealistic, but I'd really prefer that we have our own little networks, our own little support communities that we know have our backs. Resilience is great and definitely very much part of a human being's experience and arsenal in this crazy world of ours. But I'd much prefer a world where everyone is just watching out for each other, helping each other, and not just accepting the current trend where people are present for your success but absent for your struggles. For the people you know and love, be there, be cool, be present. If you've made it this far on this episode of KENTalk, thank you so much for giving this all a listen. If in any way this helped you out, and through something you're going through, then please do leave a like, leave a comment if you would like me to talk about a certain topic. Check us out on social media. Links are in the description below. If you'd like to hear more, then please do check out the description below where there is a link to a playlist with all of the episodes of KENTalk. Once again, this is Ken from the Spice Dudes. Keep it spicy.